So does American education actually exist? Whoa. Before you get mad at me, of course I'm talking about American leftists, not just Americans in general. The right-wingers, you are doing God's work on this stuff, from what I have seen. But American leftists have destroyed American education to a point that it's an international embarrassment. And really, like, everyone is laughing at the United States when we see stuff coming out there. Like this. So here you go. This is Libs of TikTok, who's doing wonderful work, of course, and her making the very good point. We need a complete total shutdown of all schools until we can figure out what the hell is going on.
She's absolutely right there.
This is Orwell pointing out here, what if you don't have time or money to buy sex toys in a kid's thing here?
Try a carrot.
No, what the hell are you doing? This
What?
is, 9th and 11th grade, no.
Why would you want a cucumber up your chuff? What on earth?
I don't know, but either way, just not appropriate. What the hell are you doing?
I like the way they specify bananas with the peel. You don't want it breaking off up there.
So let's move on to the Pledge of Allegiance that the American education system has. Not the American flag, of course. We have this instead, as you can see here. A board recently approved a motion to have all schools fly BLM flags next to the American flag. As of today, all schools still have the BLM flag flying in the school board. If you scroll down on this, I think we can see some examples. As you can see there, the images. So I don't know if you can click on the first image there, just so we can have a look at, there you are, the BLM flag flying outside of these schools.
The only thing I can say, at least they have it below the US flag.
The bare minimum.
Yeah.
Go to the other images just so we can get a demonstration. There are other schools with the BLM flag, of course, flying underneath the American flag as well, all over the country.
Sorry, that go back to the middle one. That almost looks mocking at how small and tiny the flag is next to the American flag. It's like the American boot.
Yeah, okay, but it's not in the classroom at least. No, it's in the class.
No, of course it is.
Let's go to the next one.
It is.
Let's go to the next link.
You've got pictures of Mao and political compasses in classrooms. You can have BLM.
Students at Rocky Run Middle School, Virginia, are asked to pledge allegiance to BLM in the classroom. As you can see, I pledge to support Black Lives Matter at school principals. And then, as you can see, other statements you must make in organization with BLM.
A week of action. So if you don't take part in our activism, then you don't, pass the class?
You're a bad person.
A lifetime of practice.
If you don't want to burn down cop cars because some drug dealer killed himself.
John, scroll down. When's this from?
I believe this is 2022.
Oh, Christ. I was about to say this is the sort of stuff that let Youngkin win, but it's still going on. Great.
Yeah, of course. We go to the next one. We can also see more of these flags that you must pledge your allegiance to. And as you can see there, I don't know how to say that one, Romerville, Illinois, grade school hallways. And they just have all the different flags of all the different prides, symbols possible.
Why is this relevant?
With little explanations because no one knows what the hell they mean.
Why is this relevant to school, to like when you're a teenager?
They're all failing English, but don't worry, they know what the flags mean.
Yeah, don't worry, they're all failing English, but they do also know that they're gender fluid.
There was also another funny event that I saw Libs of TikTok put up. If we go to the next one, we can see, there's a baby shower here for a baby that's not born, and it's a gender reveal session, except parents have decided the gender is non-binary.
And they've called it creature. Why have they got sex toy paddles at a baby shower?
Don't know. The baby isn't born. And the parents have decided that the kid is non-binary and so are doing a gender reveal as a non-binary kid.
And they're also deciding to have the first celebration of their child, before it's even born, be something very sexually degenerate, by the looks of it.
Do you need any more evidence that parents who say their kids are non-binary, it's not the kid's decision? The kid isn't even born. And it's non-binary.
I didn't need evidence, man. It's just logically consistent.
Yeah, but there you are. There you have it. I don't buy any of this crap. I don't think non-binary is even a thing. If we go to the next one, we can see asking children if they're transgender from the schools. So this is Sowers Middle School, California. Questions to the students.
What's it your business?
Now asking the kids here, are you transgender? And you can respond, no, I'm not. Yes, I am. I am not sure if I'm transgender, or decline to respond.
You know that if they say, I'm not sure I'm transgender, there's going to be like vultures. A few teachers be like, oh, that probably means that you are. Read this book. It's called Genderqueer. It's got everything you need to know in it.
Also asking the kids their sexual orientation, because that's what the teachers need to know. Why? What are you going to do with that information? You're not allowed to do anything with it, officially. So what are you going to do with it? In which case, why the bother are you asking it?
Fill in the questionnaire and then meet me in the cupboard.
This is like when we ran it, but remember when the co-op asked all their employees, what's your race? And then they did this in a survey, and then like 3 days later they said, oh, by the way, all new promotions are going to be done on racial basis for equality, so we're not giving anyone who's answered the survey as white a promotion.
So they're just outwardly racist.
Yeah, but also they trapped you. They asked you, what's your race? I thank you for telling the truth. Now you're not getting the job.
Wonderful.
Evil people. Go to the next one. We can also see some more stuff. So this is one that she brought up about Womixin. So this was a story, or Womix. Who cares?
Woman X.
But women spelt wrong as well. In a statement to Fox News, the school reiterated that the term was intended to promote inclusivity among students, but it did not elaborate on who, besides biological women, were being included.
It's because they don't know. How are you supposed? The really funny thing is, I've seen variations of this woman X where the X is on the O, so it's like
Human language.
And even among leftist ideologues and gender ideologues, people really don't like it. They're really angry because they think it's separating out the distinction between women and trans women.
Because it does.
They're like, trans women are women, though.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why do you keep having to say trans women then?
I know, right?
But there's the other point is I saw Andrew Doyle did a story in which some school in England had repainted its stairs with rainbow colours to be more inclusive. And he just made the point, I'm not quite sure how the previous stairs were not inclusive. Or at least...
You tried to step on them and they would just turn into a slant and you would just slide down if you were anything other than straight.
The wheelchair kids still can't use these now inclusive stairs either. He's still got to take the lift. So...
Well, we're going to have to paint that rainbow as well.
Let's go to the next one. We can see more of these situations. As you can see, there are some... the gender-obsessed cult is now updating famous people's quotes. So there's a quote here saying, when one tugs at a single thing in nature, he finds it attached to the rest of the world. And they have written, or she, or they.
I don't need to hear these people talk more about people tugging on things.
There's that too. Let's go to the next one. We can see more of this. This just keeps going, and this is why it is an embarrassment. So this is a poster here saying, if your parents aren't accepting of your identity, I'm your mum now. Hashtag free mum hugs. And this is put up by a teacher to the students.
Saying the quiet part out loud, once again, Carl always makes this point that these people do not think you own your children.
They own them.
Yes, the state owns them. They are state property, and I am a representative of the state, therefore mine.
Well, also of a gender cult. As I say, Libs of TikTok says they're trying to drive a wedge between parents and children. We're seeing more and more of this. It's very concerning. And that isn't where the anti-parent stuff ends, of course. If we go to the next one, there's a whole host of these examples. So you have a slide here, and she says, Holy S, a slide from such and such staff training instructs teachers that parents are not entitled to their kids' gender identities, and it must be earned.
Okay, what about raising a child is not earning the right to that child?
Like, I literally made the child, raised it, and then
I
gave it
put
to
a
you
lot
for
of-
an afternoon.
I put a lot of productive effort into this child, thank you very much.
Trusted you for an afternoon to take care of it, and you're like, yeah, that kid belongs to me now.
Yeah, and you've chopped off my child's penis now, thank you.
Saying it more out loud than ever. If we go forward, we can see also the mask wearers, the lunatics here. Something to be kept in mind. It's not just the woke stuff as well. And as you can see Libs Talk saying here, there is a school board that was threatening to call child protective services for children who don't wear a mask to school. In a letter sent to parents, quote, the district has requested you remove your students from campus unless they wear a face covering. Failure on your part to remove your student under these circumstances would force the district to consider taking other potential actions, such as contact County Child Protective Services and request that they remove your child from campus as they have been abandoned on campus by you. Because you said, my kid doesn't need to wear a mask. Shut up.
Really stretching the definition of abandoned right there.
You dared to say, well, what the World Health Organization's opinion is. And we'll leave that there because I don't know what else I can say on YouTube without being shot. Go to the next one because, of course, we can see the Dems position on masks as you have them there, some on the right there, all the kids' masks, all the adults not wearing masks, even though adults are more at risk of death. And then you have Ron DeSantis who just comes in and is like, stop. Just stop. Stop doing this.
I don't see many masked people standing behind him.
Not to remember Stacey Abrams as well. Remember her?
Which one was that?
She was the lady, I think she's in charge of education, or who cares, some prominent Democrat. She sat down in a school and took a picture, and she was there, big smile, all around her, little toddlers, all with face masks on, all looking depressed.
That one. Of course they do.
We continue, go to the next one. We have a school that is also keeping a list of all the problem parents who dare complain about all of these things. Quote from them here. The DEI office compiles a list of parent targets. Quote, I'm disgusted by some of these parents, need to prioritize our efforts as some have too much influence. And then there's a huge list of parents who are daring to complain that the leftist teachers in American education are destroying their kids.
Well, these people are obviously just terrorists now.
They're not concerned about their kids at all. They're already parents.
Oh, yeah.
What do they matter? And then this ends off, because you might be saying, oh, well, okay, American leftists are doing American leftist things. And, well, internationally, this is an embarrassment of us looking at it, but also, your stuff, Americans, not to be too rude, your American leftists come over here with their international schools and do the same thing. And we actually have at least some barrier to this, apparently, in Ofsted, which I'm surprised by, because Ofsted is Ofsted. As you can see, this is an article from The Guardian. Ofsted downgrades American school in London over focus on social justice.
Well, so they've actually penalised them for it. Good!
Yes.
Excellent! This is what I want to hear.
For people who don't know, Ofsted is in Britain, the organisation that goes in and inspects schools for
The school regulator, I believe.
for standards. The American school in London, which charges annual fees of £32,650 for older pupils, was previously rated outstanding, but slipped 2 grades to requires improvement, just above inadequate.
Probably-
Almost lowest setting.
Yeah, probably because of the fact that you're just teaching them. I assume this school's teaching them about gender and not English, maths, science, all the good stuff.
How'd you guess? But
Well-
also just the devastating impact of going from outstanding, like the highest, all the way down to needs improvement. Like you were almost inadequate to operate as a school.
That is a hell of a just smackdown, isn't it?
Ofsted inspectors were sent in after the ASL featured in a series of newspaper articles which reported that the parents were concerned about the woke agenda at the school and had complained children were being indoctrinated into critical race theory. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised the American school in London is exactly what you'd expect. Quote, sometimes, however, teaching places much more weight on the school's approach to social justice than on learning subject-specific knowledge and skills, said Ofsted. In lower school social studies, inspectors pointed out that pupils, quote, spend much time repeatedly considering identity, including analysing their own characteristics, rather than learning. For example, geographical knowledge. They aren't doing anything.
So these are the ones that can't point to Ukraine on a map then?
Yeah, but also just, they're not learning anything at all. I mean, Ofsted are just like, this is just a daycare centre for wokeness. This isn't a school. This needs improvement.
Honestly, it was bad enough like 10 years ago when I was going to college and I did a geography class, an A-level geography class, where we were just given a map of the UK and said, all right, here's a list of places, put them on the map. And some people that I knew put Glasgow south of London because you have to get a train there, was their observation, their reasoning. And somebody put Liverpool in the centre of the country.
We're not even going to have that experiment.
Yeah, we're not even... It's that was how it was 10 years ago. Now it's going to be even worse. People are going to look at the UK and just not even know what that is.
But as you can see here, this is the American school in London. So that's where the infection comes from directly. The teaching of middle school humanities, including English, also led to a focus on social issues. Of course it did. We couldn't learn how to spell. We have to learn about George Floyd. Subject, knowledge, and skills, the report said, leaving some pupils feeling unprepared for the next stage of their schooling. They weren't able to go to the next year and actually be adequate to be in that year. Frankly, they needed to be held back because they weren't taught anything. They were taught about George Floyd.
You know, I'm surprised they only got needs improvement.
I mean, they did say bordering on inadequate.
Yeah.
So, that.
I feel like it's hitting inadequate, personally.
Quote, in some classrooms, teaching has not allowed for questioning or even balanced presentation of opposing views. Leaders and trustees should ensure that teaching does not preclude tolerance of those with different views, particularly where specific partisan or political views are presented. A direct quote from Ofsted, because we at least still have those standards, at least in British schools. That is still there. If you do not present a balanced view, as it is called, you're breaking the law.
I'm honestly shocked that there are still institutions in the UK that are saying, like, no, you actually need to teach students.
The last bastion of sense, Ofsted.
I didn't see that one coming.
Like, they've got all their own problems. I don't want to go to horror stories, but just, yeah, even they came in and just said, right, you guys, I mean, you look at America, you see all those flags up, you see the BLM flags, the pledging allegiance, all the weird leftist nonsense, the Mao posters from the teachers. That's not allowed in the UK. That is against the law, demonstrably,
Thank
and
Christ.
you will be fined for such things. And now the American school in London is being noted for doing such things by Ofsted. I also want to notice the fact that they have excellent resources, unbelievable funding. Remember, £32,000 to attend
For a single student.
per year. That doesn't include uniforms or food.
Yep.
The canteen. No, they're making money elsewhere as well.
It sounds almost a little bit like a racket,
But
to me.
all that money, all these excellent teaching, professors or whatever you could need, and yet inadequate education.
Man, okay, right. Ibram X. Kendi charges a lot for seminars, okay?
But think about how much good you could actually do if you didn't waste it on Ibram X. Kendi.
Well, yeah, you could have some fantastic courses. You could pay for some of the best teachers in the country, I imagine. But no, we'd rather talk.
Oh, you could be an outstanding school.
Yes.
And then you end up becoming an inadequate one. The absolute state of American education. I hope all the best to the right-wing Americans who are doing God's work to try and kick this crap out of the classroom, and all the best to you. But good God, is this cancer. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as this premium podcast me and Carl did together on Eric Zamore and how he is perhaps the most based man alive. If you want to find out what else I'm putting out, you can follow me at Getter at Callum on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.